Welcome to Company versus Company with your host, Blah Blah Frankings. We got Mr. Marco Ben representing Apple and Gyudong Tenkatsu representing Sony. Let the battle. Marco Ben, please start us off with giving you a little bit of a debrief on your company. Apple is an American electronic manufacturing company. It was founded by two high school students, Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, in 1976. It started with the Apple I, and today Apple has grown into a multinational company and a innovative leader in the industry. It has revolutionary products such as the iPod, iMac, and iPhone. It is owned by several shareholders. It is run by CEO Steve Jobs. It is an individual entity. It is not owned by any other company. Now, Mr. Gyudong Tenkatsu, would you like to debrief us on your company? Sony was established by ex-naval lieutenant Akio Morita and ex-defense contractor Masure Ibuka. It is just like Apple in the sense that it is its own entity. It is managed by its board members and has several shareholders. It is also a world leader in innovative technology. Now, through the use of economics, we shall solve to see which company is better, Sony or Apple. Economic good is any good or service that is scarce. Hence, there is an opportunity cost. Both MacBooks, the Apple laptop, and BIOS, the Sony laptops, are economic goods. Therefore, it would follow the law of demand, which states that ceteris paribus, as the price of a good or service increases, the quantity demanded decreases. Vice versa, as the price of a product decreases, the quantity demanded of the product increases. Quantity demanded is the amount of a good or service that a consumer plans to buy at each price in a given period of time. The diagram shows price and quantity demanded of a computer is inversely related. If there was a decrease in price from P to P1, then there would be an increase in quantity demanded from Q to Q1. The reason the law of demand holds true is due to the substitution effect and the real income effect. The rational consumer seeks to maximize the utility. Therefore, if the price of a good or service increases, the quantity demanded will decrease due to close substitutes that are available in the market for even better prices. The second reason for the law of demand is the real income effect. If the price of a good or service falls, then the rational consumer will buy more of the good or service because they will form a smaller proportion of the real income effect. Both Macs and BIOS are not necessities. Hence, they follow the law of demand. Although both MacBooks and BIOS follow the law of demand, the two have different price elasticity of demand, or PED. PED is the responsiveness of the quantity demanded of a good or service to change in its price. This is the diagram showing the PED of MacBooks. The price elasticity of the MacBook can be seen in the graph, where a small decrease in price from A to B, from P to P1, causes a large increase in quantity demanded from Q to Q1, hence resulting in a gain. The Apple MacBook is price elastic, which means that the product is very sensitive. So if there was a small change in price, there would be a significant change in quantity demanded of the Apple laptop. In this diagram, you can see the price elasticity of BIOS. The price elasticity of BIOS shows that where a large increase in price from B to A or from P to P1, resulting in a slight decrease in quantity demanded from Q to Q1, hence resulting in a gain. The Sony BIOS is price inelastic. This means that the product is less sensitive than the MacBook, so if there was a significant change in price, there would be a slight change in quantity demanded of the Sony laptop. Supply is the relationship between quantity supplied and its price. Supply can be affected by factors such as weather, disease, technological progress, change in the price of factors of production, change in the price of other commodities, indirect taxation and subsidies, changes in the number of producers, and unexpected events. Quantity supplied is the amount of a good or service that producers plan to sell at each price in a given period of time. It is only affected by price. Quantity demanded is the amount of a good or service that consumers plan to buy at each price in a given period of time. This is affected by only price. Demand is a relationship between quantity demanded of a good or service and its price. It is affected by determinants of demand, such as price of substitutes, price of complements, fashion, weather, income, and population. A free market is where the government has no control or limited control over economic activity. When there's no government intervention, such as in a free economy, the price of a good or service is determined by the supply and demand. The point labeled EQ is known as the equilibrium. At the equilibrium, there are no forces causing a change in the price, and the quantity that the consumers want to buy will equal the quantity that the producers want to sell at the current price. This is also known as the market price. The graph shows the situation where there is an equilibrium in the production of computers. However, there's a sudden rise of the price and it moved to point P1. Here, the price is higher than the equilibrium price at point EQ. When the price of a good or service is higher than the equilibrium price, such as it is in point P2, then the quantity supplied is greater than the quantity demanded. Hence, the excess causes a supply. This is also seen in the graph, and it is known as a surplus. This is known as a buyer's market because there are more sellers than buyers. Thus, bargaining of prices occur in order for consumers to get the lowest price, and hence the price will decrease back to point PQ, but it will be moved back to the equilibrium due to the invisible hand or price signaling system, which is a force that maintains equilibrium. There is another situation whereby there is a decrease in the price, hence the demand is higher than the supply, and therefore there is a shortage. This is known as a seller's market, whereby there is more demand than what is being sold. Hence, the seller can adjust the price to his liking. In this diagram, you can see the decrease in demand. The equilibrium was at point P1 and Q1. However, the equilibrium was changed due to one of the determinants of demand. There can be a decrease in the population. For example, in Japan, there's a declining population, causing the demand to decrease. This change in demand can be seen in the point P2 and Q2. In this case, there will be no invisible hand shifting back to its original equilibrium because there is a new equilibrium, a new balance between supply and demand of computers. At this new equilibrium, there is no shortage or surplus. This new equilibrium can also be changed if one of the determinants of demand changes. The two companies, Sony and Apple, operate in the same sector. However, Apple has more demand in the market due to its highly innovative products. However, the Sony is less vulnerable to competition and substitutes. On the other hand, Apple is more vulnerable to substitutes and products. Hence, Sony can sustain more profits at majority of the times.